They told me fat was bad. They didn't know fat was where the fire lay. Truth in the tallow. They said low fat was the way to be, but I lost my fire, my mind, my energy. Swapped it back for steak and yolk. Now I rise clean, no crash, no joke. My fuel ain't brown, my fuel ain't white. It's golden butter melting in the light. No sugar highs, no hunger games. Just real food rolling through my veins.
The fire's in the fat. That's where the healing's at. Your fuel so real, so true, so clean. Fat feeds the body and sharpens the dream. The fire's in the fat. Say it loud, don't take it back. The fire's in the fat. Say it loud, don't take it back.
Brain runs smooth like grass-fed ghee. Buttered up, truth in every beat of me. Say goodbye to cravings and crash. My energy's steady, my vision flash. Vitamin A, DK unlocked. Cause fat's the key, not some detox. Tallow in the pan, pride on the plate. They fear what fuels me, that's fair.
They said fat clothes, but it cleared my mind. They said fat kills, but it brought me back to life. They said fat clothes, but it cleared my mind. They said fat kills, but it brought me back to life. In the fat, don't fear what made you strong. It's spirit all along. The fire's in the fat. You feel it now, you're burning clean. Your truth that fueled and finally seen.
Else is sick and fucking tired of seeing all the carnivore shit all over these fucking apps. No one cares if you only eat meat. Every single one of you have to identify by carnivore fucking Connie, carnivore Ken, whatever the fuck your name is, and you add carnivore to the end of it on your fucking bio is fucking weird. Weird. You're literally treating your diet like a fucking religion. A religion. A meat religion. Okay? Like, what in the absolute meat fuck is this shit? Your fucking boards with your eggs and your cheese and your fucking butter and your dates. Who cares? You can't shit. Your fiber intake is fucking zero, and you think you're just fucking trudging through life getting all healthy. Get the fuck out of here. No one cares. Your meat fucking ass, your meat farts, your meat sweats. No one wants to fucking hear about it.
And we're live, but I think, Mark's here. I don't know. I guess he's on my next level. My tech savviness isn't seeing you on the screen, buddy.
I'm here.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, good.
Just so everybody knows, we like to do those intros. We feature Carnivore Beats, Byron Funk. Usually a track is new, but I was away, so this week we didn't get to do it. We had to recycle one, so forgive me, everybody. But next week we'll have a brand new, fresh intro. Thanks, Lambs, for coming out. Sorry I let you down here, but we'll get back to it next week. Boys, we've got some stuff to talk about. We've got interviews coming out every Saturday. Like I said, this week, Sandra, we got her interview coming out, I believe, next week. And we're going to try and get the show on the road. Summertime, we've all been sort of in our own doing our little things, but it's time to get back in action. September's coming, a new year. It's going to be good. We're excited. How are we doing, boys?
All good. Welcome back.
Thanks, man. So here's something funny. I was away. I was on Vancouver Island. It's like a quick ferry ride, a couple hours away. beautiful. One of my clients, she has an acreage. It was beautiful, serene setting, lots of sun, lots of grass, meditation, had some spiritual stuff, ate a lot of meat. But this is something that happened while we were trying to watch. There was a meteor shower. Apparently, it was the Perseid meteor shower. Well, we got woken up because she has a little suite on her property where a couple live there, and the guy died of a heart attack. He's 36 years old. So that was a little bit of a wild sort of thing. And we've had Lisa Massa on talking about her coronary arterial calcium score. Heart disease is the number one killer. At 36 years old, it's just crazy. And it was I didn't actually meet him or know him, but I mean, I woke up in the middle of the night with ambulances and everything all around. And she lives out in the woods, in the sticks, like not in a city. And it was pretty wild, man. And, it just put a lot of things in perspective. Number one killer, 36 years old. My uncle just had a heart attack. We've all been, we've been.
It's scary. It's scary. It's absolutely scary, isn't it?
36, that makes you wonder also how much has it to do with diet? Because at 36, to die from heart attack induced by diet, that's impressive if that's the case.
Yeah.
I imagine that there's a lot more happening on that point.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know the details. I know he wasn't healthy, but that just goes to show the statistics aren't lying. Statistically, one of three of us is going to die of a heart attack. And, if you can control anything, aside from genetic factors, I'm sure they have a part to play, all this bullshit, but it's time, man, because I don't think statistically the odds are stacked against us. And it's just, it goes to show that, my uncle, he's in his early 70s, but he was healthy. And in my opinion, I don't think healthy people have heart attacks. Rick's been trying a long time. Hi, Rick. How you doing, buddy? He's on the heart attack diet, still waiting for it. And, my uncle was, I would argue, probably plant-based, very, active. He wasn't a sedentary guy. So he would be the typical model of health and still has a heart attack. He had no high blood pressure. His cholesterol was fine. So this is stuff that's happening. And I think the awareness needs to be said, because I know I've had videos taken down when we talk about heart disease, and these are the issues that we get into. So that leads us into our first topic today, guys. And I know, Peter, we're going to get into your cycling trip. I don't know what you're planning on today, but I know you got something lined up. But let's deal with this first, because this kind of ties into a video that Mark made, and I think we can talk about this. And everybody, thanks for joining us, and appreciate all the comments. And please like and subscribe to all the channels and all that stuff, and we'll get into
diet. Come on, if I wanted to invent the worst possible heart health diet, this just might be it. Better yet, let's fry it, barbecue it, char it to a crisp, so we can even increase our cancer risk as well. The reality about the carnivore diet is that red meat in particular is just full of saturated fat. And eating lots and lots of red meat and saturated fat, it increases your cardiovascular risk. It puts you at risk for nutrient deficiencies, protein overload in the liver and kidneys, potentially even bone and metabolic problems, and it can also increase inflammation. So the reality is that we're already not getting enough things like fresh fruits, fresh vegetables and fibre in our diet. And by going on a carnivore diet, you actually reduce these things even more. While in the short term you might be feeling great, think about what it's doing to your long-term health.
So, well, let's address this. First of all, it's wild how this guy is. I mean, I'd be curious to know, Mark, how many views that actual real clip got, because we're finding, like, in the carnivore space, aside from all the big heavy guys, the Bakers, the Chafees, and like, they're established. We know their presence is established, but smaller channels. And we just had an interview, which is going to come out later, with Michael Fine at Ancestrally Healed, and he was talking about some of the stuff, his content. I don't want to say the word shadow and then the other thing, just in case the algorithm hears us, but it seems that we're getting repressed with our content. And Mark, I know you felt that a little bit. Peter, you're coming up in a different way with the stuff that you talk. You don't really talk about as much controversial stuff, but I think that there's a very big push against smaller, people that are trying to be an ambassador for this way of eating. It's clear that that's a mainstream narrative. But the people that don't speak like that, because you talk to cardiologists, like we've got Malcolm Kendrick coming up, which we're going to talk to. He wrote the book, The Clot Thickens, has a different theory on this. Dr. Nadir Ali, I don't know if anybody's familiar with him, very big proponent of saturated fat is not bad. Another cardiologist. But, this guy gets slamming the carnivore diet. So, guys, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, when I put the video up, I put that video up, I think it was 48 hours ago, and my views on it are absolutely terrible, really, really bad. Like I've had about 40 people watching it so far, and it really, really frustrates me because if I had done something on, say, the sugar diet, my video would have went viral. And when I put it up, I made it clear that I wasn't going to speak on it. I just said, right, I'll just go through the comments, look at all these comments. This is all the proof that you need. So I put about 10 comments on the video. Every single person was saying that the carnivore diet has changed their life.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned at the very, very beginning, Tony, about heart disease being the #1 killer in the world, and you talked about being healthy, I would like to ask these people, what do you guys class as healthy? Because from what I see is people have this in their heads that if you look at someone and have a six-pack, they're automatically healthy. But they have no idea what visceral fat is around your organs. And this is the big problem that we're seeing at the moment. Yeah. Many, many people are dying at such a young age, and everybody's just blaming on like our consumption of red meats, our consumption of fats, even though we're living in a world where every single person is on a low-fat diet. I mean, the questions need to be asked. They really do. They need. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
No. And Peter, what do you think?
Well, yeah. Just continuing on the point of Mark, I recommend everybody to watch videos from Dr. Sean O'Mara, because we're not just talking about visceral fat, but also intramuscular fat, and you can be very athletic, do a lot of endurance running, for example, and still be on the bad side when it comes to fat composition in your body. And coming back to what you talked about, Tony, I think that a lot that we have to deal with in terms of broadcasting our message is the problem that we have to deal with an algorithm that is fit to the mainstream message. So it's not necessarily only shadow banning, I think. I think it also has to do with the fact that a lot of people, by all this conditioning, are not waiting for our message in a way. So it's very difficult to compose a video that is appealing to people while not. So it can be controversial. So a lot of people in the end will be agreeing with your message when it comes to the big C, for example. And somehow people have to be prepared a little bit. And I don't know the answer to it. So I don't know how to condition people, because you can tell them to right away watch a video from, what's the guy on, I forgot his name, Dr. Siegfried.
Yeah.
But it's too high level for people to dive into immediately. And there are some nice documentaries. I think there was what was it called? Cancer Revolution or something like that?
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I just read his book, and I think everybody should. Like that book is
Yeah, and of course, for a lot of people, the price of his book would be quite a hurdle to take. But I haven't read it either, so I know a lot of his videos and all these things.
Well,
but I think anyway, it's just difficult to find a midway between increasing your view count and accessing people outside our community while still remaining genuine, because that's the risk, of course.
Yeah, and Lambs, just a shout out to you, my man. Like he sent me on a few. He sent me a few people to follow. Dr. Sam Bailey, interesting stuff. And there was a doctor that he recommended to me, like to follow. I think his name's Tom Cowan. Lambs, if you can give me I think his name is Tom Cowan. I mean, anyway, I binged it, and his idea on the heart and what high blood pressure is mind blowing, and it's a different outlook. And he's saying basically, okay, you have high blood pressure. Is it a good idea to lower it with drugs when your body is telling you something? Right? So it's not the high blood pressure that you want to be lowering. It's the reason the high blood pressure is existing in the first place. Mm-hmm. So you're just, is it a good idea? And it's just a dip, because we talk about heart disease and cholesterol all the time. And, you know, we have our thoughts and our opinions. Obviously, we're not doctors and scientists, but this guy was talking about it from another angle, because high blood pressure is your body compensating for something that is wrong. So if you're not dealing with the problem, that why something's wrong, lowering the blood pressure is high for a reason. So when you're getting drugs just to lower that marker, is that just it's a false Band-Aid or a red herring? Because clearly the statistics, we're doing all the things, you know, like you said, Mark, low fat, everybody's on a plant-based program. And yet cholesterol doesn't seem to be a factor we know, because we often deal with a lot of people with high LDL cholesterol, and the high blood pressure. That's the risk factor. So they put you on drugs for those two things. Yet Corey made a good point there. If they tell you take works, why is everyone still sick? So why are the stats still going up?
Ben Bigman and hyperinsulinemia, because blood pressure and LDL cholesterol, both of them, well, the blood pressure is a symptom most of the times of hyperinsulinemia, and high LDL, I think, is only really bad in the context of metabolic syndrome if things are not working properly. And there's a lot of LDL and triglycerides floating around that your body doesn't use, or your cells don't want to use it. I remember this empty pizza box parallel by Nick Norwich. And I think the idea was that normally you would see a lot of pizza boxes distributed like normal houses. They deliver pizza boxes and people eat them, and they'll be left with empty pizza boxes. And if you have diabetes, metabolic syndrome, your body doesn't want those things. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of stuff floating around, and of course that's going to oxidize and make damage and all that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the key, right? Like, I mean, it starts with metabolic health. And I mean, I've got high LDL. I'm assuming it's been a couple of years since I've had it checked, but my blood pressure is in their eyes low optimal, which, you know, if one of those things were out, I should have super high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting how these things are just like the context, and we don't look at, you know, anybody that comes up with a different theory, because these are all theories, you know, like we're basing our absolute facts on all these theories. It's the heart health hypothesis with the LDL. It's never been proven. And, you know, people will tell you like it's the truth or it's the word of God. But yet whenever there's a counter argument with very intelligent people that are the same credits, the same degrees, the same, you know, they've been to the same schools, they have a difference of opinion. Why does one get blacklisted? Well, you know,
and see, the thing is, like, it's never ever been proven ever that saturated fat was the cause of heart disease. I mean, we spoke about Lisa Moss at the very, very beginning. She's a prime example. She proved it. She proved to the world, and she hasn't gotten the views anywhere near she should be getting. Why is this video getting pushed back?
Yeah. No doubt.
You know what I mean? This is just, it's been proven. Yeah. She went in, she got her CAC scan, and it came up 0.
Twice.
And
in 2 years. So that's
2
years.
Progression. Yeah. And it's like, okay, this video should have went viral, but it hasn't. And it's just like.
And how long does it take? Because they're telling us the way people talk about red meat and saturated fat causing heart disease, it's basically like, oh my, well, like this doctor said, the carnivore diet's a bad idea. Well, give me a time frame then, because we're seeing this. You know, Rick, how long has Rick been doing this? 40 years? You know, he hasn't had one yet. I mean, this guy, 36 years old, he did. Well, what's the difference? Well, it's not rocket science. That guy obviously was taking advice from doctors, doing his thing. Apparently, he was on medications. Well, why was he on medications? You know what I mean? It's that constant cycle or circle of we're going to call it misinformation from the other side. That's the mainstream narrative. And it's like, if people can't realize that there's something has changed, and I don't give a shit what you say. Back in the day, in the 1800s, doctors were more thorough. They worked with their families and they went to their houses. If a farmer dropped dead on a field, you don't think they would investigate? They wouldn't say, "Oh, why is this happening all over the place?" It wasn't. So that whole thing about how, we just didn't diagnose it back in the day, bullshit. You would know, like, the reason why people were dying before there was, arguably a clean environment, there was probably way more infection. There was probably way more. There wasn't antibiotics. And I'm not saying the antibiotics are a good thing, but to probably have a place in a severe infection. But there is no way that they wouldn't have seen that. So if
and they would do much broader investigations, because they would not be distracted by the mainstream research and the medicines available. And nowadays you would just say, like, okay, it's this problem, this blood marker is off, and we'll give this medicine, and end of story. And in the best case, within a few months, we'll have a look what happened, and then maybe further investigate. And then you get these whole stories that we've probably all experienced, that for years and years you suffer from all kinds of complaints. And well, normally you would try things yourself, but now you have a doctor's visit, and half a year later, we do something else. And then, I mean, I've had it as well. I mean, I did the colonoscopy, I had my lungs checked, at some point my kidneys, and blah, 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 blah. Luckily, not so many medicine, but it's just, of course, people get no longer are confident of the doctors and the systems. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
and I'm getting mine done now in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and I know for a fact it's going to come up 0. I know it is, because I feel great. But I'm going to put it on a video, and I hope it goes viral, but it won't. I know it won't.
And that's the thing. Like Bry Biscuit just said, that it's going for a CT scan, and LDL is the only marker. Well, when I had my last blood test done, LDL was my only elevated marker, and that comes down to even the clients I work with. And it's just the simple logic: if your body is healing, anything, your body is in a healing state. We like our medical system and the powers that be isolate these individual things, and if you cut yourself, your body's going to heal it. So are you healing the cut, or is your body in a healing state? And I think people like, okay, so you're feeling amazing, you're great, everything's good, all your inflammatory markers are down, your metabolic health is on point, your LDL's elevated, and you're going to die faster than you would if your LDL was normal and you felt like shit, brain fog, fatigued every day. That does not make sense to me. Like I see people, healing these things, reversing type 2 diabetes, glaucoma, anemia. They're going to have a heart attack, and they throw in these, like, well, he was healthy and he had a heart attack. So, and I think that's based on fear. That's so that they can keep you in that fear box. Well, healthy people die too. I don't think they do. And I don't think healthy people have heart attacks. No. If you have a heart attack, there was something wrong.
And the question needs to be asked: how long are these in business now, Pfizer and Pharma? Over nearly 200 years, something like that. Name one disease they've cured, just one.
Yeah, no doubt. And not to mention, they've moved the goalpost every time. Like Paul Mason talks about this all the time. When you're actually looking at blood work, what was blood work like before all these things were a problem? Barbara O'Neill, who doesn't even she's plant-based.
She's a vegan,
Cholesterol does not matter. She's saying back in the day, 40 years ago, cholesterol of 350 was fine. There was nothing wrong.
And the cholesterol is anyway something that we couldn't even measure like before the 80s or so. So that was only done in labs. We would measure total cholesterol. And in the 90s, it became a bit more commonplace to distinguish between HDL and then the calculated LDL. And there's so much still that we've got to learn. But apparently now we think that we know it all, and high LDL is absolute bad thing.
And it's funny because like if you get a white blood cell count or a complete blood panel done, white blood cells are your immune system. So if there's a problem, your white blood cells are going to be elevated. It's interesting, and I've seen people where there's some kind of thing going on. Their white blood cells are perfectly fine. There's no activity. But yet they still get pushed into a test or a biopsy or a thing. And it's like, well, you're telling me that this is your immune markers. They're fine, but now you're just worried about something. The body is in a healing state, and we know this from cytokine storms. Like when your immune system hyperactivates, that's not good, And it's interesting because they don't look at it from the healing side; they look at it from the danger side, and it's all individualized, right? Like that's the thing with even blood pressure. 40 years ago was 100 plus your age was normal. That's a big difference between lower than 130. If you're that doesn't make sense at all. So, and that goes back to the Tom Cowan theory. Like if your blood pressure's high in their eyes, why? If it's high, you should be fixing the problem that it's high, not lowering the blood pressure because your body's telling you it needs it. It's just an interesting way to look at things. And I think I believe in blood work. I think these tests are great for data. But I think there's a story there it's not just about this or that. It's the whole picture. And I mean, Sean Baker says this all the time. If you're feeling good today, the best thing you can do is it's pretty good chance you're going to be feeling good tomorrow. If you start feeling bad or start feeling symptoms and they're getting worse, you probably should figure it out. But if you're feeling amazing, why would you need drugs? Why? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's
where it all comes down to, doesn't it? It's like you can't tell me what's not working if I feel great. At the end of the day, you've got to listen to me eventually.
And then we talk about follow the money, and you think, why do they want you on lifestyle medication without dealing with your lifestyle? That does not make sense. Here, take this to live, but don't change a thing. What? And that's where our faith is. And I mean, I encourage everybody to take it all in. Obviously doctors aren't stupid, but look at where you're coming from. You need to understand the game, and the game is not our health on, they have no idea. Your health is not their problem. Their profit and agendas and greed is the main agenda. So
at the end of the day, like if you've been sick for a long time, you need to question the system. You need to stop chasing the norm. It's like things are not working for a reason.
Yeah.
It's okay. If you have a situation where your health is turned to shit, you can't just run to the doctor and say, well, okay, I'm going to be on medication. Are you trying to tell me that I'm going to be on medication for the rest of my life and there's absolutely nothing I can do at all to fix this? If your doctor's saying to you it's impossible, you're on medication, that you need to run away from these people big time.
Yeah, and what's happening also is that we tend to complicate things even more. So introducing medicine is one thing, but I'm also thinking about my type 1 diabetes, and it's way better to go back to basics and have a look at what is your diet like, what's your lifestyle. Is it ancestrally appropriate in terms of circadian rhythm and all those things, and try to lead a natural life. But adding in medicine or adding in different foods, I mean, because also in terms of food, we always have to add things. We have to add vegetables, we have to eat a minimal amount of fruit and all those things, and fiber, and of course reduce saturated fat and all those things. But it's also complicated, and it doesn't make sense, because if you look at the animal world, we are also animals in the end. And you can never present this argument because you always get this appeal to nature fallacy, but we are animals. And so why is it so complicated for us? Why do we have to add in all these things, and why do we rely on medicine? I don't get it.
And every animal on the planet aside from us knows exactly what to do. when they're born. They know exactly
Yeah.
what to do,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, and we're sitting here trying to eat the rainbow in moderation of shit that's not even it's not even natural, and for one. And I mean, you can argue, well, all food comes from nature. Well, yeah, everything on the planet comes from something. Okay, we know that, but we're just generalizing here. But I like to say, like, we focus on what the body needs. Let's stop which diet. Let's start with what the body needs. And if your body needs amino acids, essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids, what's the best sources? Oh, whoops, you're caught in a lie. Because they're telling you we need these amino acids, but limit your red meat. That's the highest, it doesn't make sense. And once you start, and I know a lot of the people that are following here, I know probably every single one of us, once you see that, you see it, you can't unsee it. And it snowballs the right way. The objective is to get the people, shake them awake, because it's just based on bullshit. And
I think this is an important question to ask. I mean, we talked a little bit about it, about how to reach the right audience, because of our 10 viewers right now, they are probably all carnivore or at least ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
And the video that Mark made and got 40 views, they were probably all 40 carnivores again, and they were ourselves. Yeah. So there were maybe 20 people seeing it. And although we get a video like about Lisa Moss and her CAC scans, it just reaches the carnivore community. And I think this is a question, we have to put it in the open, and maybe people, probably we all don't have an idea of how to solve it, but how can we
what I'm doing at the moment, Peter, I'm trying to get on now just normal podcasts at the moment, because I've been on a lot of podcasts, like carnivore podcasts, and I know I'm not reaching the right audience. Whereas I'm going to be on Laura, that you guys know, I've been on Laura Dowland's podcast before, and she has a huge Irish-based audience, and these are all just like normal people. Now, I know when these videos go out, there's going to be a lot of people listening to this podcast, and they're going to be like, hang on a second, is this guy crazy, or is this guy actually making sense? Because when a lot of people actually listen to us, because they're carnivores, they get it. They get it straight away. But the average person, when they hear this, they'd be like, okay, these three people are absolutely crazy. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that's the frustrating part, is that we're not reaching out to that right audience. We're not giving people a different voice. They're just listening to one voice constantly. They switch on social media. It's the same bullshit every day. Low fat, low calorie, all this crap. I mean, everybody's doing this, but yet their health is turned to shit.
Yeah, we have to get out of our comfort zones, probably. Yeah? So go into these shows indeed with critical interviewers. Maybe also, search the audience on TikTok and Instagram that's a bit aggressive and sometimes maybe even verbally abusive, but at least.
Well, it's funny because I've tried that and I get strikes.
So do I. I'm the same. I'm the same. Yeah. I got told off TikTok that I can't be giving out about people.
Yeah.
Like if I call out someone, I get like I get messages like behavior issues and stuff like that.
I tried to put a picture on Facebook with feet on a scale, and they told me it was body shaming. Like feet on a scale. And it's like, what? And like it's just
you know what comes up on my one? Every time I mention eating disorder, it gets shut down straight away.
Yeah, they don't want us to know. Speaking of that segues us into the next thing. Before we get into Peter's excellent adventure, we'll deal with this because it ties right into it. Again, some advice.
I actually felt like I'm not dieting. It is the only time that I have felt like I don't have to sacrifice everything that I love in order to lose.
Oh, sorry.
I lost over 70 pounds, and I will die on the hill that a calorie deficit is the best way to lose weight. And I'm not even just saying that because it's scientifically proven, but I personally, as somebody who has dieted what feels like my entire life on and off, tried every single diet in the book, I can tell you right now that eating in a calorie deficit is the first time in my life that I've actually been able to lose the weight, 70 pounds, and keep it off. It is the only time that I've actually felt like I'm not dieting. It is the only time that I have felt like I don't have to sacrifice everything that I love in order to lose weight. It is the first time that I'm able to go out and enjoy a drink with friends, that I'm able to go out and enjoy a meal with friends. It's the first time that I've been able to hit the drive-thru all the time and still lose weight month after month after month. But diet culture has been pushing us this agenda, these packaged little slim fast, keto this, Weight Watchers that, BS for so long because it makes money. Because it makes money, which I get. I have a cookbook, okay? Like, I get it. Like, maybe I'm part of the problem. The problem is people telling you that you have to give up the foods that you love in order to lose weight. The problem is people telling you that you have to do some sort of crazy point system in order to lose weight. You know what Weight Watchers is? It's a calorie deficit packaged to you in a different way where they're making up imaginary.
Okay, enough, buddy, enough. Mark.
Yeah, it's enough.
Okay.
Oh my God. People like that give you a headache, don't they?
First of all, every diet in the book. How old are you? Like, you know, like, just
she just assumes that everybody's just the same as this person. She just assumes everybody in the world. You just need to be on a low calorie diet. It works for me. It's gonna work for you.
Yeah.
Listen. I've been there. I know. Trust me. I've done the low calorie diet.
And then it's like, and then you can eat all the fast food you want. It doesn't really make sense when you're, you know, like you want to get Taco Bell for nutrition. Then you know that's your prerogative. But yeah.
Well, sure. I'm sure you get this a lot, Tony. I get this an awful lot when I take people on. And the one thing that always comes up is, Mark, I've done all the diets.
Yep.
That's what they always say. I've done all the diets. I could never get the results that I wanted. Never.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the reason why you couldn't get results is because you've been doing the exact same thing, whether it's paleo, whether it's Weight Watchers, you're in a calorie deficit. You need to stop being in a calorie deficit. You need to stop focusing on calories. You need to look at the calories that you're eating. The type of food that you're eating matters. And this is what we need to move away from. That a calorie is not just a calorie.
Yeah.
Different calories are going to have different hormonal effects on the body. And we need to understand this very, very quickly.
And sorry, Mark, I'm just going to cut in because I want your guys' help with this because I'm doing this course. It's the truth about weight loss, aging, and health. And we're going to rip apart the narrative from experience. Just rip apart all these myths and just try and make it make sense. And you can go onto my website, TonyStewartCoaching.com. It starts on September 7th, which will be after our podcast. And it's basically everything we talk about in a nutshell. Why? Just you need to start thinking about these things because this bullshit doesn't wash anymore. And, you know, a lot of my clients are older. They've been exactly what you were saying, Mark. These same, like, oh, I tried this, but it didn't work. Well, what did you try? Did you nourish your body? Were you suffering? They say, yeah, it sucked. Well, that's not right then. You should not be suffering, you know? And I mean, there's going to take a little bit of adjustment, but you should be eating nourishing foods that nourish your body, put your body in a healing state, and everything starts to go the right way. And it's just this calorie bullshit. And it's clear that, you know what? They're arguing the wrong things, you know? Like, you need to nourish your body first. If your body's not...
And we need to understand this very, very quickly as well. The human body is not a calculator. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. And all this calories out nonsense, all this energy out. Like I just go into a class and I'll burn up 600 calories. Complete nonsense, guys. Complete nonsense. And it frustrates me when I see these people doing these classes and they're walking in with these orange juices or these energy drinks. And it's like, okay, you're sweating all this out of you, but then you're hydrating again and you're putting all this stuff back into your body. It's like, oh my God, like just stop. Just stop.
And getting back to that Dr. Tom Callan that Lambs put me onto, like you got to hear his ideas about energy and ATP and all this. It's like he's just like, we've got it completely wrong. Like there's the calorie currency factor doesn't even exist because we don't. Yeah. It doesn't makes sense when you're a biological entity doing these things, how you convert energy or use energy or what. It's all about energy. It's not about this causes or does, and you should not be suffering. So a calorie deficit means nothing. If you're nourished, your body's using the fuel provided, it's working. And it's crazy. We can
And
get
see
Yeah,
this. And see, no, go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
no, I just wanted to say that by approximation, it works with say any diet, that you are sort of in a calorie deficit if you make the proper calculations for as far as possible. But I find it funny that she is running in circles, because she talks about this crazy point system in this, what is it, the Weight Watchers diet or so. And what is calorie counting? I mean, that's exactly a crazy point system. I mean, we're talking about heat energy, and heat cannot be converted to mass. I mean, it's very simple. I mean, if you think it does, then you're disagreeing with Einstein, basically. And I think Einstein knows what he's talking about. So.
And
But
when you look at
Einstein was a theorist too. They're all theories,
Exactly.
buddy.
Yeah,
Theory.
that's true. Yeah, but that's one theorist that I would trust. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's thought about his theory for sure, right? Like that's the thing. He's not just preaching.
he tested it quite well, actually, also. So
No, I was just going to add 2 points. When everybody does a calorie deficit, one, they're miserable. They hate doing it.
Yeah.
And why can't people not stick to it?
Mm.
Why can't they not stick to
Yeah.
it for the rest of their life?
and she probably
Because they
stick
know
to it
it's
for
full of
like
other
half a year or
stuff.
so at most.
That's
I mean, and
Yeah,
she's making all these
half a
claims.
year, and then she puts the weight back. She puts the weight back on, and you'll never see her on social media. She'll never talk about it. She'll never
Yeah.
talk about, oh, I put the weight back on. I could never stick to this. It's like she'll only do the videos when she has the 6-pack and she's feeling good about herself, and that's when she'll do it. But
And
on those days,
I'm not judging, but something suspicious. Something suspicious. You know, there's some kind of thing there that's like, okay, well, judging by the way you did it and what possibly could happen, there might be something underlying, whether it's some kind of disordered eating or some kind of drug that would be
absolutely.
used.
And you ever notice when they're doing these videos, they have their tops off?
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
have their tops off, and they're like, look at me. I look amazing. You can do this as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, honest to God. Crazy.
And personally, I
honestly,
don't
it's so
think she
funny.
actually looks that amazing. I mean, in terms of, I mean, obviously she has the right weight, sort of, but if you look at, I don't know how to say it, but at the musculature, and I'm not saying that she has to be ripped or anything, or have a lot of muscle, but usually you just see like, I don't know how to say it, but like the average.
Peter, she's not going to go on a date with you now, buddy. I love it, buddy. But you're right, Peter. Like you're right, and I mean, we look at people all the time, and it's, you know, it's weird how we see carnivores, how they just look fully human.
Yeah,
and
there's a sort of fullness in so not fatness, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't go to the gym. Like, I mean, well, I recently I've been doing some extra work with a friend, and it's enough for me right now because I'm focused on other things. But my body's not really changing. I mean, obviously I could do more if I wanted to, but like the actual human body is not what they're telling us. You know?
No, and I did a video on this the other day, Tony, on a reverse diet.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this now I did this reverse diet for the last 2.5 years. And I showed people at the very, very beginning what I look like to what I look like now. And I haven't changed. If anything, I've actually gotten bigger. I've gotten bigger. My muscles are getting bigger. I still walk around with 6-pack. I haven't gained any fat whatsoever.
Yeah.
Now, if we're going by caloric intake, I can tell you right now, in that two years, I'm probably up nearly about 2.5, maybe 3,000 calories easily. Like I think at the very, very beginning, I was on around 160, maybe 180, 160 protein, 180 fat. And that's when I got really, really lean. I was walking around with like 6% body fat. I had veins in my lower abs.
Yeah.
I was shredded, right? Shredded. My protein intake now is around maybe 260, probably higher.
Wow.
And I'm eating well over 400 grams of fat.
And how do you feel on it, Mark? I mean, I would imagine that you feel even better now.
I feel strong. I feel powerful. I feel amazing. I feel bigger. It's great walking around when your arms are hugging the sleeves and you're wearing your t-shirts, and you just feel good about yourself. You feel confident, and that's something that I never had. I never had that body confidence, but now I do.
Well, boys,
because I was always chasing the number. I was always chasing the number on the scales. I never had that food freedom. I was always chasing, okay, I need to be perfect. Whereas now, I'm happy. I'm really happy now.
I hear you, because Mark, I used to wear an XL, like an extra large. I'm 5'7", an XL, extra large shit. Now I'm a medium, and it's nice and it fits well, and it's like just that alone. And I'm telling you, like, I eat way more now. You know, I can eat almost 3 pounds of meat in one meal. I can do it, you know, and I just add the fat accordingly. I eat completely intuitively. I do not count shit. I eat till I'm done. And if I have some kind of strange feeling or a difference in a movement, I usually add more fat. And that's just like the bare bones, where I'm at with me. I'm not saying that works for everybody, but I mean, it's clear that my body's not, I'm not changing, you know, like if anything, my body fat percentage might go up and down a little bit, maybe the water a little bit, but I'm the same as you, Mark. Like if anything, I respond to my exercise now with just way better. And it's interesting because the scale doesn't really move. Like I'm pretty stuck around 177. And it goes up a couple pounds, comes down, and I don't really care, but sometimes I just step on it just to see what's going on. I'm never worried about it. And even if it's like, I think, you know, it's funny, I'll eat 2.5 pounds of meat. The next day I'll be 2 pounds lighter. And it's like, what?
And another thing I want to talk about as well is the muscle fullness.
Yeah.
Because this is what we hear in the fitness community, that when you go on a low-fat diet, your muscles are going to look flat. This is what you'll hear. It's like that when you take carbohydrates out of your diet, your muscles will need glycogen. Complete rubbish. You're filling the muscle up with water. That's all you're doing.
Water,
now, when you become fat adapted, you can retain all the glycogen you need in the muscle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's very, very simple. As I said, my muscle bellies are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Easily. I don't have any sodium in my diet. I don't add in any salt. I have all the salt that I need in the meat.
Yeah.
My muscles are getting bigger for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are saying this to me in the gym. Jesus, like, you're getting very, very big. Your arms are getting very, very big. Your quads are getting very, very big. And I'm not on any carbohydrates. Yeah. And if you look at my pictures like 2 years ago, I was extremely skinny.
Yeah.
Whereas now, in 2 years, I probably put on about 10 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
And that 10 pounds of muscle has made a massive difference to me. Massive difference.
Well, how do you think that gorillas make muscles? I mean, they eat carbohydrates, but in their digestive system, everything gets turned into fat because they don't absorb carbs. Not many people know that, but so they rely on fat, and they have these big muscles, and so full of glycogen.
Does it look like my muscles are deflated?
Yeah. almost as big as those.
Welcome to the gun show, everybody. We're redoing it.
Well, that's right.
I love it. Now we got to do this. All right. I love it. The gun show, people. Welcome to the meat of the matter. That's what it's all about. We actually this.
There's a question, by the way.
Let's talk about this, Peter. This is up your alley. So.
Yeah, well, I actually switched to fully raw meat recently. So I tried this lion diet, raw lion diet for 30 days, and I utterly failed because I started to introduce dairy again. And after long cycling trips, I even eat things like blueberries. But one thing I consistently continued, and that is eating raw meat. And personally, for me, it's heavy on the stomach, cooking meat. So only very occasionally, if I don't trust the meat, and that don't trust is exaggerated, but if it's like more than a day old, I might sear it on the outside very briefly.
Yeah.
Do I think it's necessary? No, not really. And I don't agree with this Von der Planets when it comes to saying that cooked meat is no longer nutritious and that sort of things. And that some people even introduce parasites as if it's a good thing. I think personally that's just nonsense. And yeah, one thing that just bothers me is that people sort of religiously follow this guy, and I never dived into it too much. I don't know how reliable all his statements are. There's certainly some truth in it, and reducing salt intake and that sort of things, I think it's good. But yeah, just to follow this person, and the dangerous thing that's happening now, that there are a lot of young carnivores, raw carnivores online, especially on TikTok. They show these very nice pictures. They have a lot of followers, really just like high school guys here. And they have like 100,000 followers, and they get like 1 out of 10 like percentage on these videos where they show this raw meat on a wooden plate and the raw dairy. And yeah, it's you'll get that sort of behavior, and people think that it's necessary to do these things. They'll start saying that the normal carnivore diet is fake carnivore diet, and that
I think if you want to try it. I think everybody's got there might be a specific or a certain thing that someone might gravitate to. If it makes you feel good, do it. And I agree with you, Peter. I don't think cooking it, like, within reason. I mean, we extract stuff from meat stock and bone broth. There's nutrition there. There's nutrients. That's undeniable. But I mean, I eat raw from time to time because my girl, she does. So I do once in a while. I find it the opposite, Peter. I find I get more full with raw meat than I do with cooked meat. But that's me. And I mean, I don't care. I don't count it or anything.
I think I can eat more if it's cooked. So yeah, that's saying the exact same. So I can eat less raw meat and be fuller quickly. But
I find I don't have, like, I like the flavor of a seared steak, and I eat it pretty rare, like not very cooked, but it just changes the flavor. And some days I gravitate towards it. Some days it's like, no, I feel like a but I mean, there's a difference between cast iron, barbecuing. Like, all of them bring different flavors, and I don't ever do one thing all the time. It's always kind of different. And for me, I guess that's my limited variety right there. Like,
me too. I would never want to miss out fully on that thing. Yeah. I mean, it's taste-wise, it's super to have a barbecue meat and that sort of stuff.
And some days I like roasts. Like, I just eat a whole roast. It's like what a roast used to be for a family dinner now, man. It's not. Yeah, it wouldn't last long. And if there was 6 of me at the table, no way. But Lambs mentioned a thing. I'll kind of get your thoughts on this, Mark. But creatine. For me, creatine, I mean, I don't see they're it's obvious. It's been one of the most tested true things for in the gym culture. But my opinion on creatine actually is more for energy. It's actually, there's so much more to creatine than just muscle growth. And I think when we're on carnivores, and of course this is my opinion, I don't think we need to supplement creatine for muscle growth when you're eating a rich creatine dense diet. For some people that aren't full carnivore or not eating a lot of meat, I think that's like, it could be a game changer for sure. But I mean, I think that's something, I don't think it's necessarily bad. And I've actually heard some people talk about like mega dosing creatine for energy, for actual, and they feel better. But just if anybody's going to think about creatine, just remember it does pull water and it can dehydrate you. So be aware of that too. And I wouldn't, just go with that's my opinion. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Tony. It's probably the most scientific supplement on the market. It's been proven many times. It can help with endurance. It can help with muscle build and stuff like that. For me personally, I think you can get all the creatine that you need in red meats. I think if you're on a high red meat diet, you don't need any creatine at all. That's not to say that if you want to add it in, by all means add it in. But I just think you'll be saving yourself more money by just eating red meats.
Yeah, I tried it a couple of years ago, and I didn't really notice a difference. And at that time, I was a lot more physically active, and I was like, it just didn't do, like, I didn't notice a difference. And I mean, I think somebody who's not on specifically an animal-based diet would probably see a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm eating creatine, supplementing creatine, also like 20 grams a day now, because
You are?
yeah, and
Awesome.
I do think I see some benefit mentally. So also when you have sleep deprivation, and then it can help particularly to increase mental performance. And
But you're more of an endurance athlete, Peter. So you're like you're on the go, like your cycling is quite intense. So someone like you, it could benefit. Someone like an athlete, a footballer, someone that's constantly moving, someone who's a bodybuilder, it can have huge benefits. But for the average person who just wants to build muscle, I just believe that if you just stick to a red meat diet, you'll have no issues at all.
Yeah, it will have minimal effect on that point, I guess. Yeah.
I heard Rhonda Patrick talk about creatine, and she said that she uses it actually because she travels a lot. She goes from whatever, she's on flights and jet lag and all that shit, and she finds, I think she talks about her, and obviously she's not carnivore. She's probably I'm assuming she eats meat, but she was telling her she does 10 grams a day, but if she's jet lagged or sleep like energetically drained, she does 20 grams a day, and she says that there's a big difference. So I've heard things about it, but I mean, as far as muscle growth, like I would agree with Mark, but I would say, hey, if you're, it might be an ace in the hole if you've got an erratic schedule, or your graveyard, switching from graveyard shifts to, normal working hours. If that's all jumbled, that might be something that, because creatine's energetic as well. It's not just, we in the fitness or health space, we think creatine muscle. Go ahead, Mark.
Can I just add as well that when it comes to muscle growth, the biggest thing you need to understand is patience. That's the biggest factor you need to understand, especially as you get older. People have this myth in their head that they're going to build so much muscle on a week-to-week basis. If you're 35 or over, realistically, you're only going to gain between 3 and 4 pounds of muscle a year. That's not a lot of muscle. People might think, okay, that's just very, very minimal. It is very, very minimal. But if you do it over a consistent period of time, like 10 years, and you do it consistently, and you eat the way you should be eating and train the way you train, in that 10 years, you'll gain 40 pounds of muscle, quality muscle.
Yeah.
You're never going to build muscle by supplementing protein shakes, creatine, BCAAs, all this nonsense
do the work,
that's on the market.
Yeah.
What's going to get you the best results? Just eat proper food. Give your body the nutrition it needs. Like Tony mentioned at the beginning, there's only 2 essential macronutrients that we need. Fatty acids that will give you all the energy that you need. Your muscles need protein, amino acids. Your body doesn't need any carbohydrates to build muscle. I don't care what fitness trainer tells you else otherwise. You do not need any carbohydrate, any whatsoever, to build muscle.
Yeah.
When you eat carbohydrate, the muscle is going to look bigger for a reason, because you're putting a lot of water into the muscle. It's called glycogen. But we can do that through an animal-based diet as well. Once you become fat adapted, you will have no issues getting these pumps in the gym. No issues whatsoever.
And I find the longer I go with this, I just don't need carbs, man. I don't care. I don't care if they're going to give me, some people I can see, like when we interviewed Coach Al Reeves, and he's playing around with a tool, and he's very specific about his regimen, and that's great. And I think there's some place for that. But for me personally, I just don't need it. Like, it doesn't really, if it was a benefit, I mean, the possibilities of the damage don't equate it. So I don't need it. And that's me. That's just
I'll tell you where I use it. When women want to use carbohydrates and they don't want to get rid of them, I find that when you add carbohydrates in before the workout, it can be tremendously beneficial for some people that are metabolically flexible. So if you're metabolically flexible, I've seen tremendous results with women, tremendous results.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I can't be metabolically flexible. I can't eat carbohydrates in like small amounts anymore. If I eat if I eat carbohydrates, it's going to set me off big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those people that are metabolically flexible, it's like that last 5 or 10%. I mean, if you look at Tour de France cyclists, they will obviously eat a lot of carbs, and nowadays they also take exogenous ketones. So that's sort of the same story. If you're a carnivore keto, then you might, if you're flexible, take a little bit of carbs. So if you're a cyclist, I would easily eat half or an entire banana before a climb. And the Tour de France cyclists are doing the exact opposite. They are eating carbs and they take these exogenous ketones to improve to boost their performance.
Well, boys, we gotta move because I know Peter's got something to say. I don't know what he's doing, but
yeah, that ties into this topic. Eh?
He's not weird.
Slamming it right in there, boys. So every week we talk about what Peter, but I think he's going to show us what he does.
The type 1 boss.
Let him.
A blood sugar.
I cannot hear you anymore, Tony.
Every week we listen to or we hear what Peter eats, but this week we are going to hear what he does. I think if I can see what's going on. So, Peter.
Yeah, so this is going to be a scary story. I actually did what the Tour de France cyclists normally do, because in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, I'll be doing a very long cycling ride, multiple days, without carbs, of course. And now, for one time, I tried to do carb loading again, but then the carnivore way, of course. So with raw milk, and my task yesterday was to go 100 kilometers in 3 hours. And I think a normal Tour de France cyclist would probably eat 100 grams of carbs easily per hour. So I didn't do that because I'm not used to it anymore. But still, instead of drinking water, I only drank raw milk. And it's quite an experiment as a type 1 diabetic, so I'm not recommending to do it, but with this I want to illustrate people what not to do, and you'll see in a moment why. And this is what I did in the past, actually, eating a lot of sugar during my cycling rides, and it can work, but I think it's quite damaging, what we talked about a moment ago. So this is what I drank.
Cola hydrating.
Yeah, cool hydrating. they were cool.
We're gonna have to do what Peter speaks soon, and
yes, koolhydraten. But anyway, yeah, you can see it here. Apart from the Dutch, so I consumed 175 grams of carbohydrates in the form of 4 liters of milk, because I had to hydrate myself, of course. So normally I would drink, I don't know. If with this intense exercise, I would drink easily 1 liter of water per hour. So now I drank a bit more than that, but 1 liter of milk per hour, let's say. Milk, and buttermilk actually also as well.
Geez, right,
which is
fully loaded, buddy. You're getting the full fat, fully loaded.
At the end of the day, they only had buttermilk. There was no normal milk left, but. So that's how it looked like. I filled it, I put it in the bottles and went to cycling. And this is what happened with my blood glucose.
Okay.
I wasn't happy with it. So I was continuously injecting insulin. Yeah. I think I injected like 3 units of insulin, and that's almost like what I inject for a carnivore meal. And mind you, I was exercising here. So on a keto diet, normally I wouldn't inject anything at all. I would just rely on a very small basal insulin dose. Yeah. And my sugars would easily stay below this yellow line, which is about 140 milligrams per deciliter. Yeah. Now it went up all the way up to 180 sometimes. And this is considered in range for type 1 diabetics. So that's really crazy, right? It's a diabetic is allowed to have these type of fluctuations. And here I'm doing all crazy stuff with exercise and a lot of carbohydrates. So actually, if you follow a relatively normal diet, without many carbs, if you restrict it to 50, even 100 grams of carbs per day,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have these type of fluctuations, because you are not messing around with all these complicated things, large amounts of insulin and fast-acting glucose, fast-acting insulin. Life becomes simpler. So, I mean, I enjoyed my ride. So it actually boosted my performance a little bit, because you get this mental boost that we talked about, this last 5 or 10%. But yeah, it's disaster.
You're like, your N of 1 is very large, my friend. I love it. Like,
Yeah.
It's just really cool to see, because, like, for people that don't realize that you have to be aware of this stuff. And this is, we can relate it. Obviously, Mark and I are not type 1 diabetic, but you can see the blood sugar swings and all the stuff happening, and wow, that's pretty crazy.
And for non-diabetics, it's the same story, because your pancreas is still excreting all this insulin to compensate for it. And one thing in type 1 diabetics is called this concept of peripheral insulin resistance. And that's the fact that your insulin levels are elevated in the rest of your body, because and that's what's happening with normal cyclists as well. They have to have a continuous elevated insulin level to absorb this extra glucose. I mean, no doubt it will give some performance boost in a way, because you'll have extra transport channels probably for the glucose to be pushed into the muscles. But if you're fat adapted, you probably don't need it, because you'll have the fat metabolism, and you'll have also the non-insulinemic transport of glucose and glycogen.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just bad also for non-diabetics.
Yeah. Can I ask a question, buddy? Were you thirsty? Did you drink any water, or was it just all milk?
No, all milk. And I mean, it hydrates, right? And actually, I experienced very little cramping the rest of the day. So this was actually a ride close to my threshold. But in terms of cramping, it wasn't that bad, actually. So yeah, I think you get probably a lot of minerals and hydration from milk.
Yeah, no doubt.
And let's see.
Did it feel any kind of weird, like, because when I drink a lot of milk, I get this kind of like burpy kind of thing, right? Like, I don't do it very often, like a lot, but I mean, I do it kind of. Like, how did you feel? Were you just sipping it, or did you actually like take it?
Yeah, larger gulps. So that's a thing, and that's a bit similar to calorie counting. You need a lot of discipline to sustain calorie counting, and that's the same with this glucose. So I could decide to drink this milk and take a sip every 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And as a cyclist, also when you rely on energy bars, you could say like, okay, every 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to take one bite of an energy bar and sort of create a continuous inflow. But oh man, I mean, I couldn't do that. I enjoy.
You drank 4 liters of milk. 4 liters you drank.
Yeah.
In what time period?
3 hours.
Wow. Wow.
Holy shit.
But that's the thing. In terms of calories, what is it? It's so it was 170 grams of carbohydrates times 4. So 600 or 700 calories was coming from the carbs, which is of course very much, but I burned about 3,000 calories.
But then you have the fat factor too. If it's raw milk and it's whole, right? That's a lot. I mean, we're talking,
and the protein as well. But this is, I think you could still call it low carb almost, because out of the 3,000, it's 20%.
And it's balancing everything out. Yeah.
Wow. But of course, I mean, we're kidding here, because people, please, if you want some good advice, send me a message or so. But so I'm talking a lot of, I'm showing how you shouldn't do it.
I'm
if you want to know how to do it,
contact me.
Buddy.
Like, what? It's like, you should have just. You know, oh, how was your? Okay, I gotta ask. Let's talk some shit. How was your movements after?
Sorry, my headphone went out. But...
How was your movements after?
Oh, those movements. Good. Yeah, sure. I think they were good.
Yeah.
So you weren't constipated.
No. Well, it's better than cheese. So
yeah. That's awesome, buddy. That's awesome.
Amazing, amazing.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to do this type of experiments too often anymore. But I enjoyed it anyway.
Well, no, that's it's kind of
and yeah, just one final thing about it is that what I do notice that after this experiment, I feel more the urge to eat carbs. So I did take some yogurt afterwards and some blueberries. So that's really a slippery slope.
Interesting.
And yeah, so I usually don't crave it. So also if I eat it once in a while, but this was really much.
See,
when
you're mixing that intensity, that type of training, and you're mixing that with carbohydrates, your blood sugars are going in this direction hugely. And that's what we see with people in classes. That's why when they come out of these classes, they're craving more of it. They're out of control. They go home, they raid the fridge because your blood sugars are massively elevated, especially after cardio.
And I think that's a very good point, Peter, is knowing that has changed your brain physiologically to crave stuff. Like that is because I mean, I can recognize it now, and it's taken a long time to realize like holy shit, these things, these little things that you do affect the way you're thinking. And whether you want to argue with your microbiomes or like just jumping alive, like, ooh, we haven't had this for a while, let's get more. But it's clear. And that's the problem we have with calories and sugar diet and this sugar diet bullshit and all this stuff. They're not taking in consideration your physical dependency for sugar, your brain's physical dependency.
Yeah.
And some people that are metabolically flexible, if that little bit of carbohydrates drives you to start like indulging in a bunch of shit, well, it doesn't matter if they're good or bad. For you, they're not good. And I think that's the stuff that we don't really talk about the nuance.
Yeah, and it's so tricky because in this run, I'm not sure if I showed it, but I actually set a record in terms of power output during the first hour. And no doubt the carbs helped a little bit, but it can be very dangerous to think then if I would train a few more times like this, I would easily start to think that I need those things to reach that performance. And that's not true because I reached the same performance close to it about a year ago. And it has a lot to do also with level of training and those things. So it's so easy to think that you would need carbs to do it at some point.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you guys, like we all know this, but if you look on paper, it kind of makes sense. But that doesn't take in your life and your situation factors and how dependent and how your metabolism is. There's so many other factors than just numbers on a page, and that's where I think you can talk logic all you want, but if you're not feeling it or things are going wrong, well, if you're disciplined enough to do what Peter did and actually have a very objective viewpoint on it, then I'm all for it. I like the N of 1 stuff. I think that's pretty ballsy, buddy. 4 liters of milk on a cycling trip, man. I can't even imagine drinking 2 liters of milk like in an hour.
Well, if you look at Nick Norwich, I think he's putting his body through a lot more stress than I am. So I did it one time, but Nick Norwich does these things like for weeks. Sometimes crazy stuff. Yeah, Oreos.
Well, next time you go on cycling trip, like do an Oreo experiment. Let's see how.
Yeah, no, in terms of gluten and all those things, I would never try it. No.
Well, boys, I think we didn't get to write that down, but I think we had a lot of stuff. Next week, we're going to get into write that down because we got a really good video that Mark produced, but I think we're running long on time. Great talk today, boys. We really do. I love hanging out, and with all the comments and the people that are here. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get our shit together to push this message to, yes, we are the carnivore community. We all know what's going on, and we appreciate all the comments and the questions. But help us get this to people that don't want to hear it. That would be fun, because we're trying to get I'm trying to get my, it's funny how my Instagram, I got to 1,000 followers so fast. They changed the guidelines. Now I'm losing them again. Like I gained, and I know my friends have all joined me, like they've subscribed, and then I lose 2. I gain 3, lose 2. Gain 1, lose 2. Gain 3. It's weird. So I've been just hanging out. Help me do a live. So follow me on Tony_food for thought. I want to start ripping apart. Probably Mark and I will probably get together quite a bit and shred the mainstream, because I figure at least if it's live, they can't censor it yet. So that's what I want to start doing, is preaching this shit live, and then strike me down after. I don't care. The message will be out. So anyway, and just speaking of that, please check out the Carnivore community on Instagram. The Carnivore community worldwide. Mark's part of it. They've had me on a few times, Peter on a few times. Great conversations for the Carnivore community, which real people talking about real shit. And, they've been awesome to come out. Jonathan's been on. Brian's going to come on. We're going to have a thing with him. He was supposed to come and help us out, but he will be back. We'll have him on. But they're great. And those conversations are so good, because it's real people talking about real things, real situations. And it's kind of what's on all our minds. So please check them out on Instagram, the Carnivore community worldwide. And I just want to say thanks to everybody today for hanging out and taking the time to be with us on this Sunday. Mark, any last words, and where can people find you?
No, again, thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate you all watching. This is what we do it for. And if you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram, Fitness Beyond Time 01. I'm also on TikTok. I also have my own podcast. It's called The Carnivore Evolution. I do that with Victoria Olsen. And if you guys want to send me an email, you can send me an email at nsmark93@gmail.com.
Perfect. Peter?
I'm the Dutch Carnivore, and you can find me on all platforms. And if you have anything particularly about type 1 diabetes, send me a DM or contact me by email via realdutchcarnivore@gmail.com.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if you know anybody that has type 1 diabetes, send them to Peter, because look at that experiment that he just did. I think these things are very valuable for people. And Peter, you bring a whole other side and a wealth of knowledge to that side. And I mean, we've all seen it with the type 1 diabetics preaching about carbs are good and all this bullshit, and you're making it happen, and think you're necessary.
Yeah, and just on this topic, by the way, I don't want people to miss out on that one. Recently on the channel of Nick Norwich, there was a very nice interview series of 2 interviews with Andrew Kutnik, I think his name is. He's also a type 1 diabetic, and that's very interesting. So do watch that one as well.
Cool. And you can find me at TikTok and Instagram at Tony_food for thought. And of course, you can find me at TonyStewartCoaching.com. And yeah, if you're interested in working with Mark, me, or Peter, just message us, get a hold of us. All the stuff is going to be in the description. I'm doing that course, and I love anybody who's curious about not how to do it, but why we need to be focusing on the right things with our health, weight loss, and aging. It starts September 7th. You can find it at TonyStewart.com. Guys, thank you very much for being here.
Can I just mention one thing as well? Guys, we have some exciting interviews coming up as well very soon. We have Dr. Kiltz. He's going to be coming up now in the next week or so. We have Malcolm McKendrick coming on next month. And I'm also speaking to Barkay. He should be coming on next month also.
Awesome. Well, and just because we talked about heart disease and Dr. Malcolm Kendrick's going to be one of those that's going to be very, very important, because his book, The Clot Thickens, is phenomenal, and his ideas about it. And he's a cardiologist, just like the guy we saw in the beginning. But I would say one of them makes a lot of sense, and the other one is just a shill for the mainstream. So, and I think we're going to be doing the Dr. Kiltz live, aren't we? Are we not? I saw something down there, so that's great. Yeah. Well, it might not be our normal time, but Thank you for joining us here Sundays live, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. in the UK and Ireland, 7 p.m. in the Netherlands and continental Europe. And that Dr. Kiltz will be a specific live. We'll make sure we get it out to people. Thank you all. Thank you, boys. Always a pleasure. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Speak soon, boys. Speak soon.